Hello everybody, welcome. Today we're going to take a look at the Analysis Lotto software. Analysis Lotto is designed around our free Delta Lotto system, and we have a few other videos you can look at that explains how the system works, or you can visit our website, which you see here. But basically what we do is we look at the spacing between lotto numbers, which is a very interesting way to analyze lottery numbers and tells us some very interesting things. So this is our Analysis Lotto software, and on the bottom you can see one of our Delta Lotto charts. This one is looking at data from the National Powerball game. It's a chart showing how winning Powerball picks are spaced. The highest peaks on the left side over here represent a spacing between numbers of 1 or 2. This means a number pair. Two winning digits right next to each other, and this shows you that number pairs in winning lotto picks are very common, which you might not expect, but we're going to explain that. The other thing you can notice is that there are other peaks on this chart about every 6 or 7 numbers apart, and the explanation for these number spacings is also going to be very surprising. Here's a picture of lottery balls all lined up, ready to go into a lottery machine, and you can see that they're lined up in numerical order. So if they don't mix well enough in the machine, balls that go into the machine next to each other might also get picked right next to each other. So that could explain why number pairs are so common in winning draws. But look also at the columns of balls and how the numbers in each of the columns are spaced 6 or 7 numbers away from the adjacent columns. These numbers also go into the machine right next to each other and could explain the other peaks we see on the delta charts, 6 or 7 numbers apart from each other. So that's a real quick look at why the delta number analysis is so powerful. But now let's look at how the Analysis Lotto software itself works. There are 6 sections here to the main screen. The first section just describes the game you're playing. Underneath it is where you set up the kinds of analysis that you wish to do. Below that is where you actually pick numbers or do conversions to and from delta versions of the lottery number. Up here on the right side is your database of historical draws, and the numbers being generated by Analysis Lotto appear underneath that. And on the bottom of the screen here you can view various graphs showing what's going on with your numbers. First step, choosing the game you wish to play, is very easy. I'll load the Mega Millions game by choosing it from this list. And here's the game. Notice right away, Mega Millions shows the same sort of pattern that Powerball does. Lots of delta ones and another peak in the delta chart 6 or 7 numbers away, all resulting from the way the balls are lined up to load into the lottery mixer. Analysis Lotto actually has 8 different systems to use for picking numbers. If you choose the historical delta system like we have here, the software will choose numbers for you that match the same delta pattern of number spacing we see in the historical database. Here you see a chart of the historical numbers, but we can see a chart of the numbers picked by Analysis Lotto by pressing the Next button down here. And you can see as I switch back and forth that the numbers picked by Analysis Lotto match the historical numbers very closely. And this is just one of the 8 systems that Analysis Lotto offers for picking numbers. We don't have time today to address all of the included systems, but we do cover all of this in greater depth on our Delta Lotto DVD. Updating your historical data is easy and can be done several different ways. You can enter drawings manually, if you like, right here in the history window. Or by pressing Add Latest Number. Or you can update automatically from many different internet data sources. For example, here's a month's worth of drawings listed on the Mega Millions website. I can copy the entire screen by choosing Select All up here and then Copy. Then in Analysis Lotto, I choose Import, Paste, Click the Go button, and there they are. The Add button then puts all of the drawings in my database. Our web page-based intelligent import method means that Analysis Lotto can work with any game, anywhere in the world, whether we know about it or not. No other lottery software is this flexible, using past drawing data that comes from anywhere on the internet. And not all of Analysis Lotto's systems require past drawing data to work. You can also pick numbers without tracking past data at all, depending on which of Analysis Lotto's systems you choose to use. For example, the typical delta pattern system doesn't require that you track data at all. Any game anywhere can be played with Analysis Lotto, not just the ones that we include. You can set up any game you wish by pressing the Edit button, entering a game name, and describing the game here. Now let's load the South Africa Powerball game, and I'll show you a few more tricks. Now we're looking at a different Analysis Lotto chart. This one shows number occurrences. This is what other lottery software would call a hot number graph. We can see right away that the number 15 is hot. It's been drawn a lot more than the other numbers on this chart. Does this mean you should play the number 15? Well, I'll answer this question by looking at another one of Analysis Lotto's chart, a number trend chart. Here we are looking at a chart showing how often a particular number has been drawn over time. This is the trend chart for the number 1, and you can see a cyclical trend, including the past on the left and the present time on the right. Back in time over here, 1 was very hot, and more recently it was very cold. If I press the next button, I can see the trend chart for the number 2. Look here, just a day or so ago, it looks like the number 2 is very cold, only picked twice in the last 33 days. But it appears to be changing direction, so we know it could very possibly be hotter in the future. That's really useful information. So now that we understand what the trend chart is about, let's look at the number 15, which looked hot on the first chart that we saw. The trend chart for the number 15 says the number 15 is very hot, but it also looks like it might change direction very soon. So playing it right now might be risky. But let's look back in time a bit to this spot in the chart. If we had been watching this chart over the last several weeks, we would have seen that the number 15 was getting hot weeks ago. And we could have used that information about the future to play the number 15 and benefited from the hot number that we can see really did happen on this chart. So Analysis Lotto's trend charts and trend systems are very useful. Finally, I want to show you how Analysis Lotto's filter feature works. If we look over on the right side of the historical drawing data, we can see that the names of the lotto machines used to pick balls and the ball sets used by the Lottery Commission are included with this data. Let's type the name of one of the lotto machines, if I can pronounce this, Ndibokazi, into the filter box and hit enter. The data filters, and you can see that only the drawings done on that machine are now in the history box. Now let's make a number occurrence chart and see how that data looks. And look here, it appears that numbers 1 through 8 are very cold, hardly drawn at all whenever that machine is employed. You can use this information to avoid playing those numbers whenever this particular lottery machine is being used. And that's not all you can do with this filter box. You can filter on lots of different information, like days of the week or months of the year, to understand all kinds of different number biases that might be present in the data. I hope you realize that this little demo just scratches the surface of Analysis Lotto. I'm going to put some comments on the screen from some of our very happy users that you can look at. Visit our website at use4.com/lotto and take a look around. And thanks for watching.